Dribbling is probably the best ROI skill to learn in football, simply because there's just so many attributes that go into dribbling itself. If you think about it, to dribble well, you need good balance, good coordination, good control, awareness, speed, timing. Also, to dribble at speed, where you may be taking one or two players, takes a lot out of your body. Try dribbling at max intensity for more than 10 seconds and see how you feel. You'll notice that you would need a minute or two to recover, and so you need to be conditioned and fairly fit to even perform dribbling at your best. Now, some of the things we mentioned, like speed, balance, and control, are mainly physical things that your body needs to be good at to dribble well. However, in this video, I want to help you to basically be untouchable when you dribble, and so most of the attributes that are going to help you and that we're going to talk about are going to be mental attributes. So if you're someone that has pretty good feet, maybe you can dribble well and you have good ball control, however you just struggle to make it happen in a competitive game, you're just someone that wants to understand the mental aspects to be a really good dribbler, then stick around because we're going to dive into all of that. By the way, if you do want to improve your dribbling specifically, and this is more of the practical things, so things like drills and exercises, I do have a 5-part dribbling program where I break down dribbling into 5 aspects, and in each part I talk about how you can improve as well as demonstrating drills for each aspect. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe you're a complete beginner and you want to know how dribbling and ball control actually works in a practical sense, or you just want to improve your current level of dribbling, just click on the first link in the description if you're interested. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about when it comes to being untouchable with your dribbling, and you probably knew that we would talk about this, and it is an aspect that you hear a lot. Nonetheless, it's still a super important thing you need to be in order to be a top dribbler, and that's super high confidence. Now, of course, it's important to have confidence in general within football. However, to be a top dribbler and perform well, you need to be extremely brave on the ball. And this can mean taking risks, being more direct with your dribbling, so running with the ball into dangerous areas and attacking the opposition. Now, you want to accomplish 2 things from being a confident dribbler. First thing is that you want your teammates to trust you with the ball. If you're a confident dribbler, your teammates will want to feed you the ball more because they can see that you're confident with the ball to take on players, which is exactly what you should want. And the second thing, and probably more importantly to being a confident dribbler, is that the opponents will start to fear you a lot more. And I've said this before on the channel, but if you're an attacking winger and you have the upper hand over your fullback, and you can see that he's afraid to face you because of your dribbling ability, honestly, it's one of the best feelings as an attacking player. And so that's what we want to aim for and accomplish as a confident dribbler. Now, to become confident as a dribbler, you definitely need some self-belief and a clear picture of how you want to play and look on the ball. But I'll say the most important thing that's going to improve your confidence as a dribbler, and I've said this many times, there's no other way around it really, is just to practice and train your dribbling. If you improve your dribbling through training, then naturally you're going to be more confident on the ball. And so just try to master manipulating the ball at your feet by taking different touches with different parts of your foot. Again, I do have a full dribbling program if you want specific drills on how to improve this. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about in order to be a top dribbler is playing off instinct. Now, when you dribble or if you're trying to take on players, you shouldn't really be thinking or planning your next move. Instead, you should let your natural ability and instincts guide you. And so it's about having as much awareness as possible in different situations and being able to take in information and respond within a split second. Now, this is what basically being in a flow state is like, where you're just fully in the zone. And this is a state you want to aim to get to whenever you play football, because it's the most natural state, and being in this state is what's going to allow you to perform at your best on the pitch. And so for you to be able to be a top dribbler and untouchable on your day, you do need to play off your instincts and be very clever and creative with your dribbling. Now, being instinctive isn't really a straightforward thing to train because we're kind of talking about your natural ability as a player. So ultimately, it comes down to what feels right to do when you're in the situation. However, one thing you can do to kind of train this is through repetition. So for example, if there's a certain skill move that you can do, however, you don't really perform it in a competitive game, but you would like to, I find just consistently repeating the skill move over and over and start to use it a lot in the training sessions. Eventually, you'll get to a point where in a game, you'll find yourself in a situation where using that skill move will be effective and you will instinctively perform it because you've done so much repetitions. And so now it's registered in your brain as an instinctive thing to do in a certain situation. And so that's the best way I find to train to be more instinctive. Now, the final thing we're going to talk about to be a top dribbler is intensity. And this is where you can really separate top dribblers from low level dribblers. If you're able to be more intense with your speed, your touches, your running, that's going to make you look like a top dribbler. And if you can be more intense with your dribbling, that's what's ultimately going to make you untouchable on your day. Now, the only way to really improve your dribbling intensity is to, of course, simply train dribbling at a higher intensity. And this really comes down to speed. If you can practice dribbling at higher and higher speeds, overall your dribbling will become more intense. Now, of course, first you want to make sure that you have your dribbling technique and ball control on point. And once you fully feel like you can control the ball and you've mastered your technique, that's when you want to start adding speed and intensity to your dribbling. Having the ability to go up in intensity, especially with something like dribbling, is what's really going to make you stand out on the pitch. So that's pretty much it for this video on how to be untouchable with your dribbling. Again, I believe dribbling and ball manipulation is the best and most important aspect you can develop. Even if, say, you're not really an attacking player, maybe you're more defensive minded or you play as a fullback, still developing your dribbling and ball manipulation skills is going to improve you so much more than just running with the ball. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe or drop a like, and I'll see you next time.